Hey guys, welcome to the Vagabond Code. I'm Javel, your guide on your coding journey. This video is the start of a React Native series where I will teach you how to build real-world mobile apps using React Native along with other tools and technologies. The first app we'll focus on in this series is a clone of Hinge, a popular dating app similar to Tinder and Bumble. Each video will concentrate on a specific feature of the app. In this and a couple of subsequent videos, we'll implement the phone authentication feature that is common in many popular apps like Uber, Airbnb, and TikTok. By the end, you'll have gained the knowledge and experience to incorporate this feature into your own mobile apps. And then we'll implement the following. Topics that we will cover will include Expo, working with scalable vector graphics, using TypeScript, custom fonts, reusable components, Expo application services, Firebase, React Native Firebase, and Firebase Phone Auth. So let's get started. I just want to point out here that I've taken some screenshots of the app and compiled them into this Figma file. The link is in the description. We will use these screenshots as a guide to develop the clone of the app. Okay? Alright, so open the terminal and run the command npx create -expo-app at latest --template. Choose a navigation template. Name the app Hinge Clone. If you are new to Expo, open your browser and go to docs.expo.dev and check out the overview and the get started section. When your project is ready, open it in VS Code. Open the integrated terminal and run the command npx expo. Press A to open the app in the Android emulator. Or press I to open the app in the iOS simulator. When you create a new Expo project, a few files and folders are provided by default: app, assets, components, and constants. But since we'll be starting from scratch, let's go ahead and delete these folders. And refresh the server to pick up all the changes. Here you have Welcome to Expo. Start by creating a file in the app directory and a button to do so automatically. Let's press the button. Let's do another refresh. And then we have Hello World. This is the first page of your app, which is the index file. In the context of our app, the first page is the feed page where you see all the dating profiles. So let's replace the context of the index file with a functional component with the name feed screen. Okay, let's do another refresh. Apart from the feed screen, we have standouts, likes, matches, and account. So let's create a file for each of these screens. Then in each of the file, create a functional component with the name of the screen. To create a tab bar, open the app folder. Let's create a new folder called tabs. Inside tabs, let's create a new file called underscore layout. And let's create a functional component called tab layout. And in here, we're going to return the tabs component from Xparoto. Next, move all the screens to the tabs folder. To make the tab layout fill the phone screen, let's create a new layout file inside the app folder. Let's create a functional component called app layout and return a slot from Xparoto, which is basically just a slot for the tab layout. Let's change the order of the tabs inside the layouts, the tab layout file, and inside the tab layout. Let's replace the self-closing tabs tag with a opening and closing tab. To change the order of the tabs, we'll use the tabs.screen component. Specify the order. So the first screen will be the index screen. The next screen will be standouts. In third place, we have likes. In fourth place, we have matches. And then the last screen will be account. Next, let's customize the appearance of the tab bar. In order to do so, we need to get some assets and constants that I have provided for this clone. The link is in the description. You can download the constants and assets directly from VS Code by running the following command in the integrated terminal: curl -o files.zip -l bit.ly /hinge clone 01, and then we can unzip the file, and then we can remove the file. So here we have some assets. We have funds that we got from Google Funds. We have some icons some images for the icon and the splash screen. To learn how to create these images, you can go to the Expo documentation under user interface. There's a guide on the splash screen and app icons. Next, we have a video that we will use for this screen right here that we got from pixels.com. Next, we have the constants folder where we define some constants like colors, countries, fonts. To actually use these fonts, we do have some setup. You should go to the Expo docs and search for fonts. And let's install the Expo font package. And let's also follow this minimal example of using a custom font. First, let's import the use font hook from Expo font. And we'll do this inside the app layout. Inside the app layout file. And next, copy the splash screen import. And then we're going to prevent the splash screen from auto hiding while the fonts are loaded. So if we refresh this, we should see the fonts and it should not hide. Right now it is hiding. The reason for that is because we're using Expo, and Expo has its own splash screen that we should be using instead of the splash screen from the Expo splash screen. If you go back to the documentation and search for Expo, introduction to Expo, click on appearance elements, you can see that this example is using the splash screen from Expo. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's remove this and let's import the splash screen from Expo here. Okay. Now when we refresh, you can see that this line is preventing the splash screen from hiding automatically. Next, let us load the fonts using the use fonts hook. Place this section here with the fonts that we have inside the constants folder. Save. All right, so here we have a syntax error. And the reason why we're having this error is because we're using path aliases here. You go back to the documentation and search for path aliases. We need to do a few configuration changes. So inside the tsconfig.json file, we need to copy the path property. And paste this here, and let's replace the source with a period because we don't have a source in our project. Next, let's add this to our app.json file. Like so. And let's do a restart. And a refresh. All right, so that should resolve our syntax error that we had before. Let's continue. When the fonts, so after the fonts load, we're going to hide the splash screen using this snippet here. And to prevent rendering until the fonts has loaded or an error has returned, we're going to use this snippet here. Okay. So next in our constants folder, we have some icons. We're using SVGs. To use SVGs in our React Native project, we need to do some setup. So if you go back to the Expo docs and search for SVGs, there's a guide on how to use SVGs. We'll be using the React Native SVG transformer. Let's follow this link and follow the steps. First step is to install React Native SVG. Second step is to install React Native SVG transformer. The third step is to configure the React Native packager by editing the metro.config file. Since we're using TypeScript, let's create this declarations file. And copy and paste this code snippet. Next, to be able to change the SVG color, you also need to create this file. And copy and paste this snippet. Since we made some changes to the metro.config file, we need to restart the server. We can go ahead and close these tabs and continue to look at the other files we have inside constants folder. Next, we have links. These are the links that we're going to use through the app, types, and typography. All right, let's go back to the tabs layout and let's customize the appearance by specifying some screen options on the tabs component. The first option that we're going to set is the tab bar background. Actually, we're going to set the tab bar style, and inside the tab bar style, we're going to set a background color to colors dot dark gray 1. Next, let's set the tab bar active tint color to colors.white and the tab bar inactive tint color to colors dot dark gray 2. Okay. Next, let's set the tab bar show label to false and the tab bar icon to a function that should return an icon, but for now, let's just return null. So to return the correct icon, we need to know the routes. So inside the screen options, and what we're going to do is we're going to pass a function that returns this object. All right. This function receives a prop called the route prop that we can use to determine the icon to return. Let's do a switch on the route dot name. By default, we're going to return null. If the route.name is index, we're going to return the hinge icon. Let's set the fill to the color prop that gets passed into the tab bar icon function. If the route is standouts, let's set the icon to star. For likes, we have heart. Matches, we have message. And account, we're going to return the person icon. All right. So this is all we'll cover in this video. But before we go, let's just confirm that everything is working on the Android device, on the Android emulator. So let's just close this and reopen. All right, so everything looks good here. In the next video, we'll start to look at creating the screens for the authentication flow. Okay, I'll see you soon.